Okay, so I am here with Honor Gunner and Frank Ottinger, and I am presenting on effective technology integration in the mathematics classroom. This is in fulfillment of EDUC 752 under the direction of Dr. P. Mark Taylor. So my topic focuses on technology integration in the mathematics classroom. So while it's been a current push, we can look back and it's even as early as 1984. They saw the effects that technology integration could have in the mathematics classroom. Wolfram stated that just being able to compute as quickly as technology could allow them to investigate science concepts that were natural phenomenon in an algorithm manner, so they could see things happening in the mathematics versus spending all the time doing the calculation. So, as we know, our students are coming to us knowing more technology than probably we know. They learn it faster, they learn it better. We can't find ways to keep them from getting around firewalls and all that stuff. So Prinsky calls them digital natives, where teachers are digital immigrants. And I like that analogy because it's kind of what it is. We're learning it secondhand, where they're learning it as they grow up. We also know that technology is found to increase cognitive and student learning. Wiglinski, found that the appropriate use of technology actually increased students' learning in 8th grade mathematics. However, the just rote memorization computer programs and integration of technology did not. It actually could have a negative impact, so that was interesting. So we know that there's several ways to integrate technology. So that those can include the whiteboard, iPads, one-to-one devices, just grading policies, calculators. The umbrella of technology is fairly large as to how it's implemented. So the push to teach mathematics in a way that promotes conceptual learning has become an integral part of our instruction, and we know this is teaching with a task. One of the most recent studies is that if you pick a high cognitive demand task, then the learning is more high skill, high problem solving. So you have that push. You also have the push for technology to be integrated in math education. However, there's not been a lot of studies on integration of the two. The training that has been conducted has been about teaching with a task, paper, pencil. The task is on paper, and that's been observed. And then you've had the umbrella of integrating technology, but not the two have been overlaid. So the purpose of this study is to determine how teachers are using technology in the mathematics classroom and determine if they're able to use technology in a way that promotes high cognitive demand in mathematics understanding. So we're looking at if you're using technology, and if you are using technology, at what level is it? Is it a level that they're manipulating the math? Are they engaged with the math, manipulating the mathematics? Or are they just doing the drill and practice? Because there's different levels there. And are you able to reach the higher levels of learning with technology? Is that even available, and how does that happen? So the research questions: are they using technology in a way that requires students to complete tasks that require high cognitive demand? So instead of coming in and getting on a program like Kahoot that's completely multiple choice, or are we using things that students are manipulating the mathematics? Okay, we've used programs like illustrative math where they can manipulate it, but I'm not sure of the programs that are out there to do that, to reach that cognitive demand. So here are the two big studies. The Quasar project said that it all starts with a task. If you choose a high cognitive task in mathematics, then that high cognitive demand is more likely to be maintained throughout student learning. We've seen this in several trainings that we've been through over the past couple of years. If you choose a low-level task, the likelihood that the teacher within themselves and how it's enacted out by the students is very unlikely able to raise the cognitive demand. It has to start with the the choice you make has to be a high cognitive demand task, and then even if I and all my imperfections mess it up, there's still valuable student learning that takes place. So then the question became, how do you pick a high-level task? What does that look like? What does it entail? And so they came up with the Task Analysis Guide, or the TAG. So it's broken down into 4 levels: doing mathematics, procedures with math connections, procedures without math connections, and memorization. So these type of tasks, those top 2 are the high cognitive demand tasks, doing mathematics. And it gives you an example there. This graphic I got from Polly, and he adapted it. But I thought that was a nice little graphic that kind of explained it, not only the type, but the description, and then it gave an example of a problem that would look like a doing math task. So we can say, see there in memorization, it says was a product of 9 and 6. That just wrote memorization. And then it kind of builds in levels. So we're asking ourselves essentially, can we pick a task with technology that can get that? We've had experience writing them and using them, but is there technology out there that has that type of level? Okay. So then the second, or third, I should say, integration is TPAC. So we know that when we went to school, because we're all about the same age, that you focused on content and pedagogy. And this diagram is for all subjects. So what is going on now is they're saying now with the press of technology that essentially teachers need to have pedagogy knowledge, content knowledge, and technology knowledge. They have to have all 3. So, and then they break that down into, we focused on pedagogy and content. That's what we always focused on. You had pedagogy and you had content. So did you know your content? Did you know how to teach kids? Well, now that technology piece is in there that says, okay, do you know how to choose the technology that integrates with the pedagogy and the content to get that 21st century skill? So the nice thing about this graphic is you can see that where pedagogy and technology integrate, that's when you get an engaged classroom, but there's not a lot of learning, not a lot of content learning. Like they may be having fun and it may be differentiated, but what they know about the math may not be on learning target. If you look at the pedagogy and content side, that's what we've always done, but it may not be very engaging as far as like kids in the 21st century. It's paper pencil, it's, some of those things. And then if you have the technology and content, then you may not be reaching all learners because you're not differentiating, you're not using the learning strategies, so to get all 3, you have to be able to be focused on each one and pull them all together. So there has been multiple trainings that have been researched to develop teachers' TPAC through professional development, but as we know with learners and other students is that it's got to be differentiated to the teacher because each teacher is at different places in their understanding of TPAC. Some of them are really good on pedagogy and content, and they need help with the technology. Some have technology and content, they need help with the pedagogy, to use technology pedagogically. What piece of technology is good as far as learning strategy, or what piece of technology is good as far as the content that I want to have developed. So it has to be individualized, and some people are just trying to learn to use the technology themselves. So in this study, what I'll be doing is I'll be doing a case study. So I will be studying 5 teachers with interviews, observations, and I will be talking to them about what level of TPAC or task that they're doing. The reason that I wanted to duplicate sort of this study, it's not a complete duplicate, it's very similar to Polly's work at UNC Charlotte. However, he's only focused on elementary teachers in mathematics, and it's a very rural setting. They're new to technology. It was just 2 teachers that were willing to change, were willing to do this. It's different here because it's middle school mathematics, and then it's also, we're in 3rd year of 1-to-1, so we are expected to maybe have more understanding of the technology use than maybe that they did in his study. So it is a little different in that manner. The other thing is we're going to be looking at how we choose the technology that we're using in our classroom. That'll be part of the interview questions. Like, how did you choose this? Why did you choose it? What content were you trying to teach? And then I'll just be going around and sampling student work and see what their learning is. Very similar to what we do when we examine student work on paper or pencil. Just seeing what the technology was, how they demonstrated their learning. So hopefully this will contribute to the body of mathematical knowledge in that there's not been a lot of research specifically in mathematics. There's been a lot of technology research about how people are implementing technology, and that's just said that, there's not a best way to do it. There's guides out there, but there's not a best way to integrate technology. And then specifically, math and the sciences have not been extensively studied on how to integrate technology specifically in those areas. So, do you have any questions?
No.
No questions? Okay. Okay. Do you have any suggestions?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Probably a little later.
Okay. So how do you think about the as a math teacher, how do you think about the technology and the mathematics piece? What do you...
I mean, most of the technology I've seen has flaws, and I feel like what I'm doing in content and pedagogy is always better than what I can get in technology, other than just drill and practice. We're giving them practice is my personal feeling on it.
Okay.
Where there's, to me, the flaws of doing the technology outweigh the good sometimes.
Okay.
And in our school system, the kids get so much technology that they get tired of it. When I say go to Canvas,
Gotcha.
So I'm just like, well, why?
Okay.
I think it's important to look at the programs. Like, are we using it just for the sake of technology, or are they mathematically gaining something? I know when we do law of conservation of mass, that's something they need a visual. So technology is great in that aspect, but it's more as a representation to show them before I let them loose on the program where they can actually physically see the math going on with the balancing of equations. So it gives me a great visual. So I like it. But there's other things out there that if I used to just say for the use of technology, it wouldn't be beneficial at all, I don't think. Such as Canvas.
So, do you think that... So, where do you think that you all are just in the TPAC? Do you think you have the technology choices mastered, or do you think that you're stronger in one area, two area, three areas?
I mean, I would say I'm definitely stronger in content and pedagogy, and then weak in technology. I mean, I guess I'm here of late becoming resistant to technology. I mean, I use it when I can, but I'm not going to let it dominate my classroom when I don't feel like it's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't.
I've cut back.
Okay.
I feel like I'm high technology, but I feel like I have cut back a little bit and really reassessed what technologies that I do use and what programs I do use.
And I still use it some.
Okay.
I'm on it at least 25% a day each
Okay.
class period.
So, when I go into these teachers' classrooms, do you have any suggestions as what to look for or questions to ask?
I think maybe beginning with the end in mind, what did this do, or how did this be beneficial to the kids and their 21st century skills as compared to not using it? Like, why was this decision made?
To use that
Why was that decision
technology
made to use that technology that you chose for that time?
I think I missed your question. I got it, and then what was your question?
as I go into these teachers' classrooms when I begin to do this, is there specific questions you think that I should ask or look for?
I don't know about questions, but I would look for, you could have a teacher using technology 80% of the time, but they're, like you kind of said, pedagogy is